Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I'm gonna talk about my investment in for stocks in Robinhood. In the previous my investment video, I talk about why I use Robinhood. I like Robinhood because it's so intuitive, so user friendly, and it doesn't cost. It's like basically zero. And they're like a startup, I think, based on Silicon Valley, and I like to help startup to become successful, and I see how they want to democratize basically um, what financial stocks, right? So they want to be able to open up the market, the stock for everybody by reducing the fee to zero, right? Of course, you can opt in to pay, and they'll give you more like features, but so far I've been using it for the past I think 2 years, and I don't need the extra features. So basically, for me, it's like free. So I'm just gonna discuss like one by one. I think I have around like 35 individual stocks that I picked. So if you can see, this is like my account, right? So I'm already signed in. So you can see I got Tesla, right? I have 19 shares of Tesla. So if I click that, I have uh, you know, so I have about $6,000 now. You can see how much money I have, right? So I bought it when it was like 227, so it was like up by about 45% here, right? So which is pretty good. Um, and the reason why I bet Tesla again, my investment philosophy is I believe that technology creates a better world, right? For for humanity, for us, right? The role of technology basically from scarcity to abundance, right? So for Tesla, it's very obvious. Like Elon Musk wants to make like electric vehicles like uh, easy for kind of affordable. Of course, now it's like expensive. Even me, I couldn't afford it. Like the least expensive is about like 38,000. But it's starting. It's growing. So it's gonna get there. It's gonna take a number of years, probably like 5 or 6 more years, become before it becomes like 25,000 more affordable, right? So I believe in the mission of the company, Tesla. Um, the second one I have is Netflix. Probably you heard like Netflix is like a household names. Everybody knows it. Again, I like the company. I know the CEO has a very like a um, kind of open culture. It's like one of the most likable, I think, tech companies in the US, right? And the one I like it, Netflix is like one. It's like synonymous with democratizing like good quality movies for everybody, like in the whole world, right? They are probably like the number one, like in terms of streaming services, right? Of course, right now there's like more companies coming in, like Disney Plus just offer their streaming services. I think Apple Plus, TV Plus also coming in also, but I think Netflix has their own kind of like market, right? So I'm not too worried. Um, Next, Alibaba. If you know, Alibaba is I think the second largest tech companies in China, right? And they're growing their like their uh, influence also in Asia and also in the US, right? Recently, I went to China town in Chicago and to buy like bubble tea, and then they accept only Alipay, I think WeChat and Venmo and cash. They don't accept Visa or Mastercard. Can you imagine in the US, but this is in Chinatown, they don't accept Visa and Mastercard, but they accept Alipay, which is part of the payment system from Alibaba, right? And this is just like the beginning. Or of course, they've been like what, like 10, 15 years, right? But they're still growing. Facebook, of course, is another big tech companies in the US especially, and is also known worldwide. And I kind of also believe like in the mission of the companies that is to connect uh, people all around the world, right? So it has like a really feel like good mission, right? and I felt, I use the WhatsApp day to day to communicate with my families back home. I'm originally from Indonesia, right? To my friends, right? I use Facebook to connect with other people like from far away, right? So it's doing good like for the world, right? Of course, there's this like opinion like or like negative like recently about how Facebook allow like their platform being manipulated, but I think that's all just like uh, you know, yeah, of course, probably they're doing something like not supposed to be not good, but I believe in overall doing something good, right? Amazon, of course, is another big tech companies that I believe also doing like democratizing like what like online purchase in the US, right? So you don't have to go to the store to buy like something that's for example that doesn't need like a real experience. You already know the product is good. You already know this is kind of like a commodity product. You just have to buy it, right? You don't need any additional information to feel and touch. It's different probably, for example, for a new product, for example, like Tesla, right? You want to like feel it, you want to drive it, you want to have the experience because it's something totally new. But the one that's being sold in Amazon normally is like a very common household products, like soap, a shirt, eyeglasses, books, and all that stuff, right? And you can also read the review from there, right? Of course, Google. I love Google. I'm using Google every day, right? It's probably the number one search engine here in the US. Um, I love their product like Pixelbook. Also, I use their Pixelbook before. I use their Google Home product. I use Gmail. I use Google Map every day like that to drive around, right? So uh, Microsoft, this is the name of the game, Microsoft. It's like a coming from the dead. Since Satya Nadella take over from I think Steve Ballmer, he's been like really good in turning the company around, right? Because used to be under Steve Ballmer or even Bill Gates before that. Like Amazon used to, sorry, Microsoft. What am I doing? Microsoft used to be like kind of close. They kind of really well, of course, as a company, you have to protect your copyrights and everything, right? But they used to say that Linux is like a cancer, because Linux is known for their open system, open source kind of software. But now they're embracing open source. They just bought GitHub a few years ago. They bought Minecraft, which is also another like kind of like very like well known among the video gamers for it's like open platform, right? Like everybody can just modify the Minecraft uh, gaming system. So um, yeah, the next one is another Chinese company. It's Tencent. Probably you haven't heard, but it's basically I think it's the number one in China after Alibaba, right? Um, um, Again, they're like one of the probably top 20 big tech in the world, right? And they're growing their empire like all across Asia. Like they're helping companies, they're funding also startup. They have so inside the Tencent, they have the Tencent like a venture capitalist. Venture capitalist is basically a group or a company or a small organization that helps another startup. They fund the startup, right? To launch their product or services, right, in the market. So one of their famous product is called WeChat app, right, or services. It's basically if you go to China, you cannot survive without WeChat. It's basically to buy things, to communicate, uh, you need that app. So if you go to a store, you want to buy something, you need that app to buy, right? And I think it's one from what I heard is more than that. I used it like I downloaded it, but I didn't use it often, so I didn't really know. But what I heard is like a super app. So it's like a combination between Facebook, PayPal, probably also Google, like Instagram is like in one app. So that's super powerful. We'll see if that kind of app also is going to be integrated in the US ecosystem too, because right now US app is more like a silo, right? So it has a different kind of business model than in China. Next one, Costco. I love Costco. Sorry. No, why is it 10 cent? Okay. This is like my favorite. If you live in the US, this is my favorite company. I shop there a lot. Oh yeah, one of the things uh, that you want to the easiest one that you want to invest is the company that the product or services that you use, right? Try not to invest on the company where the product and services that you do not use because it's hard to gauge how good they are, right? But once you use it, like I use Apple phone, I use Microsoft product also, I use Google product, so I know how good is the product and services. So in like Costco, I go there practically like once a week, right? So I know that they offer a really good quality product at an affordable prices. So that's what I like about Costco. Square, this is another company that I like. I don't really use it, but I have an adjacent product that so the CEO of Square, Jack Dorsey, is also the CEO of Twitter, and I use Twitter a lot. And when I go to the outside to the market to the store, I see many people use Square, right? And the one I like about Jack Dorsey or Square that basically they are also pro into Bitcoin, and I love Bitcoin. That's another talk, right, on its own. But yeah, so if you go outside, you notice many of especially if you go to farmers market type of a store, many of them use Square for their payment system, right? And they have also, I use actually one of their product, which is called Cash App, and I like it. It's very simple. So Cash App is like a Venmo. You can like basically pay peer to peer, like to your friends, and you can also buy Bitcoin. And the latest service is you can actually buy a fraction of a stock. So that's another one. Next is Spotify. Um, this is one of my favorite audio streaming service. So it's I use it from day to day. I'm listening to podcasts or listening to music. I use it. I use the free tier, so I don't pay anything, right? Um, um, yeah, and it's Spotify. It's like it's growing still, right? I think they only been for in the market for since 2018, so they're pretty young, right? As a company, right? Um, so it's like about a year, yeah, 1.5 years old, right? Since they go to IPO, and I like their mission. Basically, they want to become the market leader for audio streaming service, I think, right? So I think the last merger acquisition, they bought like a company who specializes in podcasts. I think the company has kind of like a podcast software, something like that, right? I use the service podcast, even though I use the free tier, and I like their service. And then the next one I have is Twilio. This one, so I'm losing money on Twilio. So I bought it at 129, right? Now it's 97, so I'm losing about what here, like 24%, right? So I invest about 1,000, but I only have now around 780 if I sell it now. But I kind of also believe in the company, so I bought it like almost at the peak here, like yeah. Anyway, so um, I knew Twilio like about 4 or 5 years ago when I learned Python programming language. The one of the instructor mentioned Twilio, and we use like an API to call on Twilio to send a message through our SMS system, right? Um, yeah, this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang on to it. I don't really use it day to day, but again, I know it's being used a lot. Their service in a startup company like Uber, I think uses Twilio, Lyft uses Twilio, and so on, right? So um, you win some, you lose some, right? You cannot just keep on winning. Um, the next one is uh, oh, Shopify. Shopify, yeah. Shopify is basically like a e-commerce platform, like Amazon, but individual. So you can get a website. Let's say you're selling shoes, you can get a website shoes.com, right? Is your own website instead of under Amazon. And all of those infrastructure, the backend, everything, the software, basically, Shopify is gonna make it so easy for you, right? And I think they're a Canadian company. Um, Next is Lyft. Lyft is, as you know, is like Uber. I use Lyft when I travel and Uber. I like their services. And I used to be like an experiential driver for Lyft and Uber. Um, and I think it helps people a lot to just get into the gig economy, just to earn some extra money. They're opening up the market that untapped driver or untapped like a car that are not being used, right? And it also helps people not to buy a car, right? If some people doesn't want to buy a car, and with Lyft and Uber, they can just call or use their app and call them, right? So they don't have to buy a car. So in that sense, it's like a saving. It's not like a very consumeristic like thing that you just have to buy a car, right? You can just share. And this one I mentioned, SoftBank. This is an investment firm by a Japanese guy. Uh, they invest in WeWork. This one I just put a little bit money. See, I only have like $100 here. Um, I just want to try it out. Um, and then the next one is Pinduoduo. So probably many of you haven't heard this. This is like it's a Chinese company, right? And the one I like is it's founded by ex Google engineers, software engineers who used to be in the US, and then he went, I think, to China. And then he's probably this is his like third or fourth like startup company. And the one I like about him is because the business model of Pinduoduo is very unique. He wants basically to combine between Costco and Disney. Costco is well known for offering a quality product at a lower price, and Disney is well known for being like fun, right? So what Pinduoduo is doing is basically if you want to buy something on their platform, right? Let's say shoes, let's say, and then it will offer you like $10, right, to buy one. Then if you get a network, because in the Pinduoduo I never use it, but from what I have read, that you can actually get a friends in your network to buy. So let's say if you can get 10 people, then instead of $10, it will be like $9. If you get more people, let's say 30, it becomes like $8. If you can get more like 50 people to buy the same shoes, right? It will be like $7. So it's kind of like a buy in bulk, right? And as a consumer, you have a bargaining power, right? So normally the bargaining power is the what do you call it? Is the seller, the factory who sells the shoes, right? You are as a consumer, you are like just um, like on the receiving end. Okay, the factory sells you $10. Okay, take it or leave it, right? But here as consumer, you have more like a kind of like you're giving an insurance to the company. Look, I have this a friend of mine who wants to buy shoes. I have like 20 people. Like I have, so I want to buy like 20 shoes because or like 30 shoes, right? So you're giving the insurance to the company. Okay, Um, I want to buy this much, this amount, right? So as a company, also you're happy because okay, so instead of just producing like one for that particular person, you can produce in bulk, right? So you're giving an insurance. Normally, the insurance comes from the company, so they are flipping the model. So normally the insurance comes from the company to the consumer, to the people like us, right? To the public. This is like flipping the model. The insurance comes from the people like us, the consumer who buys the product, to the company. Because as a consumer, now you are insuring, you're saying like a guarantee, hey, I can buy your shoes, guarantee I'll buy it 100, instead of just one, I'll buy it 1,000 or 100 because I have this network. A lot of my friends want to buy it too, right? If you're a famous like a influencer in your network, for example, you can do that. So it's a very unique, and that's why I bought it. Okay, next I have Pinduoduo. What's this? Viva. Oh, what did I do? Okay, this one is a bit. I don't use this, so this is a kind of like I um, didn't follow my own kind of rule, right? Uh, but I know this because I kind of like, yeah, the company that my wife work with, they're using the FIFA system. Basically, this is a cloud service for healthcare industry. And I know healthcare industry kind of in this year, 2019, is kind of like I think it's going to be like a booming years from like 2019 and onwards. So I'm kind of, in general, I'm kind of bullish in any services or products that cater specifically to the healthcare industry. And then because I don't know if you heard, the healthcare industry in the US is kind of messed up. It's like there's so many problems. Like we are um, like it's so expensive. People can go bankrupt here if they got sick. That's how messed up is the system is, right? Probably one of the most expensive healthcare like system in the world. I don't know, but it's very expensive if you got sick in the US. So there, because of that, the opportunities to disrupt the industry is massive. I think it's like in trillion of dollars. Like people, the healthcare industry is in the US. So next is um, Zoom. Okay, this one I kind of lost a lot. So if you see here, I lost like 16%, whatever. Really? Okay. Yeah, not a lot. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, whatever. Zoom is it's what? It's a video communication platform, right? That's what Zoom is. I knew this because they are supposed to be well known and very user friendly, and they're a startup, of course, and I like to pick up startup, and they are very yeah. It seems they're very niche. I use it personally like one or two times, and I like it. It's the most user friendly. I used to kind of volunteer at the what do you call that? Volunteer at the people who have disabilities. And one of the things I help is to find out what is the easiest video communication platform that I can use for people with people to communicate with people who are senior, right? Because we are helping people who are senior to use technology. And the easiest, after a lot of research, right, with Google Hangout as one of the candidate, probably I think Slack too, Microsoft Skype, and then what's the other one? Probably Facebook Messenger too. The easiest one is using Zoom. So that from that experience, okay, there might be something going on here. Okay, next is Pinterest. Pinterest, I kind of use it, not a lot. Um, I just think that they are unique. Although now it's kind of crashing right now, right? I just have a little bit of Pinterest. So it's like minus 40%. Wow. Okay. So I kind of lost a lot here. Good thing I only have a little here, not so much. Um, it seems, yeah, their model is very unique. It's like using a combination of photograph and um, more like a home wife kind of thing that using it, right? I think more female, and they use it for ideas, something like that. So I still believe in the company. Um, Next, what do I have here? Uber is kind of the same as Lyft, right? I use it a lot, although now it's like being hammered, right? Um, and then next one is Snap. You guys know Snap? I only have a little bit of investment here. Snapchat, I like it. My kids use it, so I know. Um, this one is a index fund, ARC Genomics. It's basically focusing on genomic revolution. Genomic revolution is the kind of like our genes basically. So all of the companies under here is basically is a bunch of companies who are trying to disrupt uh, the genes kind of market, right? So, and I bought this because I believe, especially like this year and onwards, like 2019 and onwards, is like going to be healthcare. Like I mentioned, like it's one of the industry that are so big that can be disrupted, right, with new technology. So, genomic revolution is one of the tools that they use to disrupt this um, industry. Um, and then Apple, of course, you know Apple, right? I use it. My phone is Apple. I love the company. I use MacBook Pro, so I like it. Twitter, I have a little bit of shares. I use it, yeah, to get ideas, follow people. Um, what's the other one next? Um, SPY. This is the one that I mentioned, like my previous investment strategy. If you want to become just a passive investment, I strongly encourage you just buy this fund, right? You buy once, forget about it, and then it will give you like a 10% on annual return, right? On average, right? There's some year it's gonna get destroyed, there's some it's gonna go up. So, yeah, so long-term strategy. So you need to have the mentality and the emotional temperament to do this, right? Um, what else? So it's almost done. QTech is another index fund, just mainly it's kind of like SP 500, but it's focused on a technology sector, right? 100 technology sector, right? What else? Okay, Disney. I have Disney. I love Disney. Boeing. I love Boeing. I'm just gonna and then IBB. This one is biotech. Again, this is another index fund that a group of companies that focus in biotechnology that is gonna disrupt again the healthcare industry, right? So and then Lululemon, I use their product, right? I think they have a really like enthusiast customer there. Their product is just very good. And then the last but not least, AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. I just bought this like literally like two or a week ago. I heard this from my one of my cousin, and then I do research really quickly, like 2 3 days, and then they're I kind of late for 2 years probably, but their stock has been like crazy. And one of the things that I like is first they have the I think I haven't seen a lot of female CEO, Asian CEO in the US. I think probably AMD is one of the first one. I might be wrong, but the one I like is I think they are kind of disrupting the CPU and GPU market because from what I understand, they are the only company who has CPU and GPU together. Like Nvidia, their competitors, they only have GPU, but they don't have or CPU, right? Or if they have CPU, they are not strong, right? Intel, they're strong in CPU, but they don't have the GPU. So AMD have both, and from some market, I think from the desktop CPU market, their product is compatible with Intel, but at like half, like almost half the price. That is so crazy, right? So unheard of, like 2, 3 years ago. So that's why I bought the company, and again, I love the CEO. So yeah, so that's all. I just want to show you my portfolio, right? I think it's about 35 companies, and I like technology companies because technology companies is the one that's accelerating the progress for humanity to make a better world for everybody, and I want to support that, right? So yeah, so um, leave me any comments or questions, or what you like, what you don't like, and if you want me to expand to any specific companies, or you want just give any comment that you can think of, or you want me to discuss any other companies that is not there, or ask any questions, then I will try to answer every questions. Thanks for listening. My name is Danny Skandar. I'll see you next time. Ciao. Bye.